Good evening, everyone. Welcome to BNR. It's me, Gene. Gene's your host for today, and I'm joined with Ben. Ben, how are you, man? What's going on? Did you catch any of the Champions League, Ben?
I didn't, mate. No. I've been in the office today in Manchester, and then I went out with a few friends from work after. Just went to like a works event. So I've not seen any football at all tonight. So I've just come in now, ran in, set my laptop up, and got a brew and checked the scores. I saw City got beat with half a team out, didn't they?
Yeah.
Newcastle got beat, did they as well? I didn't see that one. Was that Marseille? Was it he played?
Yeah, Marseille. I actually I watched that game over I started Chelsea first half an hour because obviously it was Barcelona Chelsea. I watched them, and then obviously then they got a man sent off, and they had what do you call it? They were down to 10 men, and conceded a goal. I thought this was going to be a bit boring, so I watched the Marseille game because we were going to play them. So I thought I'd watch them. They're a good side, man. They're a decent side.
Am I right in saying we're playing Marseille in the Champions League, aren't we?
Yeah, away at the Velodrome.
Away, yeah. You were saying that's a really difficult away game, isn't it? Like I know every away game's difficult for us. I reckon the dog and duck would be difficult for us at the moment. But yeah, it's a tough one but we digress. It just shows you how difficult it is to get results week in, week out in any facets, really, doesn't it? Is it us? Chelsea beat Barcelona as well, didn't they, tonight?
Yeah, 1-0.
Brilliant result. No, it was 3-0.
3-0.
I looked at the score.
Oh, it was 3-0. Delap and Estevao scored. I was watching the other game, Ben. It was 3-0.
Right, okay. So that must have been a quick turnover. Yeah, 3-0 full time. So City got beat at home 2-0 by Leverkusen. Yeah. Very interesting. I think City have just made a calculated decision there. They're in sixth still. And he thought, we'll just throw that one because they need to get back onto winning ways. I don't know who they got at the weekend in the league. It must be another tricky one for them to what's called. Let me have a quick look at the weekends. Oh, they got Leeds at home, so that's not really that difficult a game. So I'm surprised that they rotated so much.
They had their second team out.
Yeah, really surprised. Maybe they thought they could beat them with the second string, but just shows you, doesn't it? Just shows you. Yeah. But what about Barcelona, eh?
Well, yeah, 3-0 Barcelona. I think they were down to 10 men, but the first half an hour, they deserved it. But Chelsea played really well. Chelsea look like Maresca's got him playing well, and they look like they look decent. Not sure if they can challenge for the title, but they looked good.
No, absolutely. So tomorrow night, obviously, it's the Reds against PSV, and it will be who else is on tomorrow night? So it'll be Arsenal Bayern. What a game that is! That'll be a really, really good game. I'm tempted to watch. Should we have to do a watch along for that instead of Liverpool game? Might get more views.
You're probably right.
I know, yeah. And then Spurs away to PSG. That's another tasty one as well, isn't it? They'll get slapped there, I think.
Are they at home? They're at home, aren't they?
Away. Spurs at PSG. So that's a really tasty game. Very tasty game indeed.
Yeah,
well, Ben, it's all about the Reds, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's best we speak about the Reds. Look, Ben, I had my rant over the weekend. You've probably seen it. I got a lot of messages and stuff saying you've gone a bit loopy here. But you know what? It was straight after the game. I was a bit peed off. I wasn't happy. And it just emotions sort of, come out. But you know what? I want to be positive. I don't want to be like, down in the dump sort of thing. I want to be positive, saying, you know what, let's flip it. I want to think about tomorrow's game positively and hopefully try and get the win. But before we go on to the actual game, Ben, let's talk about, look, I think it's important that we speak about what we need in terms of Liverpool and what this club needs to do to get it right, especially in the January transfer market, Ben, because we can't really, looking at our team, missing out on Guehi on the last day of the season, we have to go in hard in the transfer market and make sure we do business. And people are asking, where's Asim? Avi can't make it today, but Asim will be joining us soon.
Yeah, Asim will be on.
But yeah, Ben. So
Yeah, it's the January window. It's obviously we've talked about it a lot so far. The obvious names have come up, haven't they? That looks like Semenya and Guehi are the two primary names, but you know, dare I say it? Would they want to try and save the season by going even harder and maybe trying to what's called to go for maybe another right back, maybe another midfielder. I'm speculating here, and there is no names out there, but there's an argument to say that the only way that we're really going to complete this transition is until we've bought 2, 3, maybe 4 more players to complete the change. And obviously that can't happen in one summer, but we've had a good go at doing it last summer. But really, for it to come to fruition, like I've been listening to a lot of stuff on the radio and on other shows and podcasts and stuff, trying to get as much sort of input as possible. And I think a lot of people are of the same opinion that if we're saying that this is the change from the old to the new, well, neither we haven't completely transitioned to the new yet, not by a long shot, really. So there's still clear deficiencies within the team and clear upgrades that need to be made within the team. We obviously know right back, centre back is one, but I think we're all of the agreement that we probably need another midfielder of a different profile, one that can probably more of a defensive-minded player who can pass the ball from deep. And then maybe even we need to look at considering another right back because, as I say, I'll defend Conor Bradley all day. I think he's a talented player, but my biggest problem with Conor Bradley, and he was starting to come into a bit of form before he got injured, but that's the problem. Gets injured every other month. And nobody can build a team around somebody who can't stay fit for more than 2 or 3 games, and that's the really frustrating thing about it. So if he can't stay fit, and then Frimpong is not the right profile long term, then maybe they do need to look at a right back as well in the future. So yeah, and obviously the left mid, the left side of attack is obviously a big part. But again, it's interesting. Semenya is linked heavily with Liverpool, but he's linked with Arsenal as well. Obviously, I heard he was linked with it, even Man City today
yeah,
as well, which is
there
an
was,
interesting one. So who knows? Who knows? And I'm still of the opinion that if the plan is at some point to get Ekatike and Isak in the same team, one because one cost 120 million and you've got to make him work, and one because he's such a bright talent and he cost 85 million pound, then you've got to find a way of getting them both in the team. So you'd think you'd play both of them up front, and that suggests that we wouldn't have a front three unless you start deploying Ekatike on the left. But he hasn't played him on the left at all, has he? Not once. He hasn't
yeah.
given him hardly any time at all on the left. So you'd suggest that he doesn't want to play him on the left. So we'll see. We shall see. And obviously, he's still got Florian Wirtz to find a position for. And if he doesn't trust him in the midfield at the moment, then he's got to find a position in the front three as well. And to me, when Salah goes to AFCON, it might be logic for Wirtz to play behind Isak and Ekatike. That's what I think deep down he might be thinking of doing. And we'll see how that unfolds. But I don't know. Do you think there's a possibility, or would you want to do more than 2 in January?
I'll be honest. I think it's impossible to do more than 2 in Jan. I
Do you
think
reckon?
2 generally. I think being able to get the players that you want. I know the 2 players that we're linked to, the 2 players that we could probably get, and they're you're still going to pay 65 and plus whatever the thing is going to cost, Mark Guehi. But these 2 players, you look at and you think, you know what, they're gettable. But not every player that is that suitable for Liverpool is gettable in Jan. Sometimes you might have to wait till there's someone. Plus, they're going to be inflated prices of
Yeah, they
whoever.
are. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. There's
these 2 are
talk now that Guehi's going to be like expensive again now because they're like, well, we'd rather wait until the summer because we need him. But I just think that deal's got to happen. It's just got to happen, hasn't
we
it?
don't have
No
a choice,
matter
Ben,
what.
and I think we simply don't have a choice. We have to go into the market. We have to, get it right because otherwise it will literally derail our season, and it'll be a catastrophe if we don't. Because then the issues that we've got, and this is what been issued, that when you've got the issues that we've got, and with the players that we've got, can you really see it changing? I can't.
No.
I look at it and I think, regardless, when every single player is available, we're still not good enough. Them issues
Yeah.
don't go. And
Yeah,
that's
and that doesn't mitigate Slot either because he's obviously made some mistakes and he's had a poor season compared to last season. But at the same time, you've got to give him the tools to do the job as well, haven't you? And you could argue. I was listening to a really interesting piece before about the idea that the players on paper that we've bought are all world class, either now or potential. And yeah, it just shows you sometimes doesn't necessarily mean just buying the best player is the correct profile or the correct fit for the team. Like, reading something like I'm so excited about Vert. I want him to work so much, but then there is an argument to say, well, where was his position designed for? Right, okay, it's the 10, but then you can't take Szoboszlai out of that position at the moment, can you? Because he's like been the form player of the season for us, and he like he leads that press. So it's like, where'd you play him? You just don't have a position for him. So it's almost like a luxury that we don't need or don't want at this moment in time. We need like defensive solidity, but you almost feel as though, well, he's a piece of the puzzle, but he's been bought before another piece comes in as well, and then it makes more sense. The way you normally say, "Oh, he's the final piece of the jigsaw." Well, in this case, it's almost like he's the first, second, third part of the jigsaw, and there's the rest of it still to come. But yeah, it is really interesting to see how it's going to evolve over the next two windows, because I'm convinced that for last summer to make sense, then January and next summer have got to be heavy spending as well, because otherwise, to me, that it doesn't make sense, because there's no point buying, 3 wheels. You've got to buy 4 wheels, sort of thing, for it all to come together. Does that make sense?
It does. And the thing with me is like, look, this is why I'm at first I was thinking, we might not buy in January, and we might just, knowing Liverpool will wait for the summer, and then we will go in hard and go and spend as much money as we can. But look, I went for the manager hard on the weekend, Ben, but he needs
Mm.
to sort it out. And people are mentioning there's times when you don't, I want to see some sort of change, because honestly, at times I look and I just think like, last year, Ben, there was things that I'd see that Slot would do at half time, where he'd
Yeah,
make
smart moves.
smart move, and they paid off. And
Mm,
there was little tweaks that he'd do. Right now,
mm.
everything that he's doing, I
It's
look at
wrong.
it. It's not even wrong. I don't think the crazy thing is, and I don't want to be disrespectful to him, it feels like he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just throwing
No,
forward.
no.
Because when a
Yeah, yeah.
player comes on, you think, okay, this player's going to come on, he's going to give us this, and now this is
Mm,
why Scott's done this.
mm. And it's
I
so
can't
difficult to
see
sort of really fathom, isn't it? Because he's not a different man. He's the same smart manager that did what he did last season. And people are consistently saying, "Oh, he didn't really do anything last season." But that's, to me, that's people with a preconceived agenda that they just want to prove that he's failing this year. You have to give him. And a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, it was only the players." Last season, it wasn't the manager. He didn't change anything, and the players were brilliant, and they did what they, well, if that's the case, then it's the players this year that are letting them down. You can't have it both ways, can you? You can't say, oh, last year it was just the players and the manager did nothing, but this year the players have been crap, so it must be the manager. It doesn't work to say it both ways, does it? So I think it's both parties. I think last year the players obviously were in the right place and the manager was making all the right decisions. And this year, for a multitude of reasons, which we've already discussed, everybody's making the wrong decisions and everybody's getting it messed up.
And look, Ash goes, it's a good comment because in January we've got to go and buying a centre back and left winger. Summer we go for right back, centre back, left back, a 6 and a right winger. 7 needed in the next 2 windows. Centre back, left winger, I agree with. Right back,
Yeah,
I agree with. Another centre back,
potentially.
potentially because of Van Dijk. So that's
Yeah,
fair.
potentially.
The left back, because probably Robbo's going.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that might not. I don't know whether he's suggesting a first choice left back or a cover, but I would suggest it's more the latter, isn't it? Because
yeah,
there's not going to go and get another 40-50 million pound left back and just throw Kirkes on the scrap heap.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
think if you do get Semenya, then they're probably thinking, well, that chemistry was already in motion at Bournemouth, wasn't it? And that can be rekindled potentially at Liverpool. So
yeah,
that would make sense. And then obviously right winger is for
yeah,
Salah, isn't it?
yeah.
That's a
So
huge amount of business again, though, isn't it?
that's 7 needed in the next 2 transfer windows that Liverpool need to do for us to feel as though, you know what, we really have a team now.
What does that equate to in money, just roughly?
Now,
If
okay,
you
let's say
say
100 million for the centre back and left winger. Just let's say it's
in January, yeah,
January, right? Right back, centre back. It depends on who the second centre back we get. He can't be shit. He's gonna have to be half decent.
I
Even
think
though
you're
we're
probably
gonna
looking at maybe 100 for the two again.
100, and then you've got left back. Maybe we don't need to go crazy on
Cover,
that cover.
yeah,
6, which isn't gonna be cheap, and
100,
then the right winger isn't gonna be cheap. So you're
another
probably
100,
huh?
another 400.
You-
But does you also think have to consider you're going to expect it to be well. Canate's likely going to go, so his salary will drop. You're gonna obviously lose if you're replacing a centre back in Van Dijk. Van Dijk's obviously got one more season left in him, so you've got to look at that equation. But if you're replacing a right winger, then again, it's a big conversation, isn't it? But you're thinking north of 300 million, you're going to have to sell 2 or 3 to recoup a big chunk of that, aren't you? Like the logical one would be McAllister would possibly go.
Yeah,
Um,
we have to sell,
I,
Ben. There's no way you
I,
can get
yeah, we'd
another
have to sell. Yeah,
400 million and not
yeah,
sell at least one of the players. And I think it probably will be
yeah,
McAllister because he probably is the one that we need to sell to
yeah.
bring in the funds.
Dare I say, might even consider a sale if they get another left winger and Rio kicks on and Rio's more in the mould of Semenyo, should we say? They might think about letting Cody go as well if they get a decent offer for him.
Yeah,
But I suppose the big one is there any world where I can't see Van Dijk going before the end of his contract, but is there a world where Salah goes in the summer? If you had to put your money on it right now and say Salah will see out his contract or go in the summer for, I don't know, say 50, 60 million to Saudi, do you think he goes or do you think he stays? Ask the chat that as well, by the way.
generally speaking, Salah is one to want to go and break every record and that type of stuff. So a year ago, I would have said no chance. But I think at the end of this season, I think the Saudis will come knocking because Salah will know that they'll know he probably might not have but he hasn't had his best season so far.
Yeah.
There might be a world where he might. There is a possibility that
Yeah,
he
yeah.
could be before his
My
contract.
thing with Salah is that it's the conversation to have with him. So if you say to Salah, right, okay, your last season, you're going to you're going to start some games, but you're predominantly going to be an impact substitute and a really, really good one at that, by the way. But you're not going to be guaranteed first choice because we're going to be integrating your long-term replacement, be that Elise or whoever it might be. And if he's accepting that, then I would keep him all day because I can't think of a better sub on the planet to have than Salah coming off the bench with half an hour to go, an hour to go
Yeah,
here and there.
why not a
I
club
just can't see him accepting that. I just
and
can't see him accepting
number
that.
one, he can't accept that. And do you think Liverpool can say no to 40, 50 million pounds, whatever it
Yeah.
is?
Yeah. Can they leave
Especially when
450
that
grand a week on the
replacement,
bench?
who we all want is Elise, right? And look, everybody's talking about Elise. Then so Elise is not cheap. You're
No,
gonna
he's
have
not.
to give in somewhere,
It'll be
aren't you?
big wedge. Yeah, he'll be 100 million, won't he?
Yeah.
He'll be the new rate.
There you go. So this is why I think, you know what, we will. If Olise is the player that we want to go in for, then that's where we will have to look at and think, you know what, a lot of money. But if it's a player like a lot of players are always mention Minte, uh, a right wing as a salary replacement. There's quite a few comments that have also
I'm not. I'm not having him at all, to be honest. I think he's good, but I'm not having him. But then the other thing that he could do, and I know me and you are big fans of him, he certainly hasn't set the world on fire this season. But there is a world where Semenyo goes to the right wing, and then they go and get another left winger, potentially Gordon. That's
all
another
back.
person who, or Barcola, and then you've got the Isak conversation there. In that, you saw the best of Isak with flying wingers either side of him, didn't you? In Gordon and then Semenyo would be a good option, and they would be good foils, I think, for Isak. Because at this moment in time, both of our wide men are sort of inverted and they want to cut in and shoot, don't they? Rather than getting to the byline and getting balls back for Isak, which is what his strength is. So they may reshape from that perspective. And I think I'm right in saying at PSV, sorry, at Feyenoord, Slot was very much about fast, wide, attacking wingers, wasn't he? So it'd be interesting to see. You know, as I say, I don't think Yildiz, that's another one. He's fast, isn't he, as well? He's a proper touchline winger.
He really does remind me of a prime Chiesa. When I saw people, when Chiesa was on proper Chiesa, he reminds me of him, and he's a brilliant footballer. He can finish. He's got everything to his game. But again, he's not going to be cheap, and he's going to have big boys, the Real Madrids of this world wanting him, and Barcelona. I think he will go in for that. And people are saying forget Gordon. Look, we can't forget Gordon because I think that name will be there for the next at least a year and a half.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, if Gordon, you know, he is not having the best season so far, but if he has an okay season and we still look at him, we know what his potential is, and we know how much he would absolutely die for the idea of playing for Liverpool. You know, he could be a perfect foil for Isak and a really great option as a wide forward. And if he's not absolutely, you know, tearing it down at Newcastle, then he might suddenly be a little bit more reasonable in terms of cost.
I think the comments are going crazy, man, because Ben we're talking about Gordon. Me and you were Gordon in, to be fair. Me and you were
I like him. I've always liked him. And I think there's a lot to be said about someone who's desperate to play for you as well. Like Eze, so it's gone to Arsenal. He's a huge Arsenal fan, isn't he? You know, I wouldn't say that he's like a elite, but he's a very good player, and he will put us, you know, he'll go all out to be a success at Arsenal, won't he? And I feel like I still think that there's a conversation there that Gordon could possibly, you know, be a real good option for us. But we'll see. We're just speculating, aren't we? You on mute, mate.
But for the summer, I think the Gordon. I think the minute we're going hard for Semenyo, which is going to be hopefully this January, then obviously the Gordon talk will finish. But I just hope we manage to get Semenyo over the line and Guehi, because them two are right now are pressing issues. We need a centre back who's good enough to play out. We need a winger who's going to be, you know, we need one who's at least can stand somebody up, who's got the pace, the physicality, and that's going to give us the work rate like a Semenyo. Because let's face it, our none of our wingers give us any of that right now, and I can't see that happening
again. We're just being cheeky and we're speculating, and it's interesting, like, to do it, like, you know, we're just playing sort of devil's advocate.
People have got mad when talking about Gordon.
I know. All right, I'll stop talking about Gordon now, guys. All right, I don't want to stress you out too much. I know we're all stressed as it is at the moment. I've had enough abuse the last 2 nights. I don't want to be inviting anymore. But just playing, having a bit of a game. If all of a sudden, Wharton or Anderson or Belabor became available in January, would you rather have one of those than assuming Guehi's done? We're going to get Guehi because we're desperate for a centre back. So we're hoping that that's going to happen on the 1st of Jan. If you had the option of one of those sixes or midfielders as opposed to Semenyo, which one would you rather have? Bless you.
I would go for Semenyo.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
I know, but
it looks like an obvious gap, doesn't it?
It's a massive gap, number one, and we need bloody thingy. We need a winger to can go past a man. But then again, look, loads of people are saying Anderson. Everybody's got their own thing. I'm crying out for a Semenyo right now. And I get the Wharton, and I get the Anderson shouts, I get the bloody Wharton shouts, I get the Belabor shouts. Them three are always them three. I think Liverpool will buy one of them three. I don't think we'll go to Europe for our midfielder. I think these three are the players that we're gonna. One of the three we'll get. I think United will get the other, and probably, obviously, the other team will get whoever the other person.
Which one would you pick if you are out of three?
I've always been a Wharton fan. You know that I've been a massive Wharton fan. I think he's a brilliant footballer. But right now, Ben, probably Anderson.
Really? Interesting.
I think we need a
He
player.
was good on Saturday. He looks a good player. I like Wharton. No, I think he's got all of the tools. To be honest, my only problem with Wharton is that he has had a few bad injuries, hasn't he? And he
Number
has
one
struggled.
injuries, and I think look, I was ready to spend 100 million on Wharton 2 years ago. So
Yeah,
it's difficult for me to say that I want to move away from Wharton and bring in
yeah.
Anderson. But
It's
I
mad that he
think,
came from Blackburn for 30 million, isn't it? Just shows you, doesn't it? There are players out there like who can,
and,
who can be special.
and what I really like about Anderson is he's got. I think his characteristics are exactly what we lack right now:
Yeah.
physicality, bite, tenaciousness, can pass the ball. I love how he demands the ball, man. He's one of them who demands the ball at every opportunity. Um, so yeah, let's wait and see what happens, because
Mm.
I'm
He's
sure
got to have a
Newcastle
position in the midfield, though, hasn't he? That's the thing. So you're saying that logically.
buy back on Anderson. Oh,
Oh, right. Okay. That'll be interesting if they
yeah.
have. I'm not sure if they have, to
I
be
don't know
honest,
if
but
that's
if they
too
have,
like, but
then they'll be all over that. But then the conversation will be is, will Anderson go back to Newcastle if they haven't got Champions League? Like, don't get me wrong, at this moment in time, I'm not 100% sure we'll have it. But assuming we do and we get our act together a little bit, he's going to go to a Champions League club, isn't he? So that's going to be
yeah,
the minimum,
100%.
a
He
minimum
won't go over
requirements.
the minimum, especially now that he's in the England squad and probably will be starting in the World Cup. Him and
Mm,
Declan Rice will be the two midfielders for.
yeah,
Hopefully,
no, you'd have to think so. Is the man. So yeah,
yeah.
it'll be interesting to see. It'll be really interesting to see. But obviously, one's got to go before one comes in as well, or you'd expect one to be going. To be honest, so we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds. It is.
Anthony,
You
what's
chief.
going on? Turns up
Not
late.
much.
Turns up late. He's done an Avi.
You know what? Better late than never. Better late than never.
That's true.
What's going on?
What's
I've been
going on?
listening to the show. Been listening to the show. It looks like you guys are playing FIFA Manager again.
Yeah, we are.
Then Avi,
We're
ask
just
him,
trying to
Anthony,
we're
all
just
over
trying
the
to have
shop, yeah?
25 minutes without sadness and what to call and pain and thinking about the future rather than
We
thinking about the
decided before the
presence.
show came on, I said, you know
Is it?
what, Ben? Honestly, the last thing I want to do is have an argument or start bloody, slaughter. I've done that for the last few days. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to make it a nice and
Bloody
relaxed.
hell.
Save that for Sunday night.
Because
That's a big.
he took it
That's a
all out
big.
Monday night. I go, you know what? Plus, let's talk transfers. I looked at the signings in January. I thought, you know what? Okay, let's
Bit
play
of
best.
therapy then. A bit of therapy.
A
Yeah,
little
man.
bit of therapy, mate. Yeah, much needed. Much needed.
But I'll come
Pull
to you at
Asim in
some
then.
point.
What? Go on. So what were you say? Sorry.
No, go on, Ben.
No, I was just going to say to Asim, just to pull you into the conversation. Would you? What's called the first question was? We're pretty sure that we're going to get Guehi. Well, we're hoping so anyway, because we could be nice, quite good if we could get a defender. That would do us a world of good. But if all of a sudden one of those midfielders that we were talking about, that we all seem to be very keen on, an Anderson or a Wharton or a PLAYBACK, became available in January, at a price for whatever was doable, would you prefer one of them over a Semenya, or would you still rather punt for Semenya?
Oh, it's a good question. It's a good question.
What's the
that's
biggest
a tough
need?
one. That's a tough one. I would go. The biggest need. That is a really tough one. I only had one choice between a DM and Semenyo.
Which one gets us to Budapest?
I think I would go with Semenyo. Why? Is because we've got Guehi. You said we've got Guehi.
Yeah, we have.
So I think
That's
that will make us better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the DM isn't a priority. I think it is.
Yeah. But our
because
build-up
we've
would
got
be better, is
Guehi,
what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think one at the top of the end of the pitch and one at the back. I think, and I've been saying it for that. I think Gene's just gone from Wharton to Anderson. Anderson has really, really impressed me, Ben. For
He
the
was
last
good
month.
against Saturday, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think long term, especially where the league is going, I think Anderson is a must for the summer. Whether you get him,
he would be your choice out of three.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think Wharton's a better passer than Anderson. Has he got a higher natural ceiling than Anderson?
Yeah, there's a few little
Probably.
injury concerns with Wharton as well, isn't there?
Yeah, but I think I just read Alex is saying that Wharton's has just one injury, but he does whenever you watch him play, he does like I think Gene mentioned it last show that Will Hughes always comes on for him around about the 70th mark. So that's a like
Anderson
a
looks
VTech.
robust, doesn't he? He looks really robust.
Yeah,
Oh,
honestly.
I mean, people have mentioned, Ben, that he's got not, don't want to put him under pressure or anything, but he's got really Gerrard traits in him. Honestly, from what we've seen when you watch him play, he has, the tenaciousness. He can pass the ball. He can tackle. He's a proper. He gets up and down. Obviously, I'm not saying he's anywhere near Gerrard here, but the way he plays and when what you see of him, you think, you know what, there's something about
Yeah.
this lad that's really, really good. And I hope we do make a move for him. I really do hope that we make a
I
move
just
for
think
him.
what's interesting is, I know I'm playing devil's advocate here big time, but if he's available in January for 60, 70 million or something, knowing that he's going to start for England in the World Cup and could absolutely light it up and then would cost over 100, is it does it make more business sense to try and get him while he's still gettable without, in January? Do you know what I mean? It's but then I suppose you could say that about Wharton. If either of them have brilliant summers at the World Cup, then the prices are going to go through the roof regardless, aren't they? So it's one of those situations where
I think if you look at Belabor, Ben, robust, box to box, powerful, carrier, doesn't have probably those natural number 6 traits, but you can see if he's disciplined enough and he's open enough to coaching, you can mold him into that. But when you go and spend 70, 80 million pounds on a player, you'd expect them, especially as a DM, to be a specialist. When you go Wharton, more controlled environment, better passer, high ceiling, really good connector. And the amount of times I've not seen a lot of Wharton, but when I do watch him, one thing that springs to mind is general settle play, switch. He doesn't have any angle bias towards the right or the left. Really comfortable on both, both angles.
Both feet.
But the way he sometimes just accelerates play, whether it's in settle play or it's in transition. But what Anderson is he's a good hybrid between the both options.
The lot,
where he's not as good as a passer as Wharton, but he's still very progressive. Just like Tuesdays, he's got some Gerrard traits and never shying away from a tackle. Even his running style, when you watch compilations of him, you do see that. And he can pass the ball. He never shies away from a tackle, like I said. And he's robust. He can be box to box. He can be a part of a 2. He can be at the base as well. So I think he is the one, especially where the league is going. And if you see our midfield and how we play with the fullbacks, if we're going to stick with Bradley and Kirkes long term, which I don't think we will, and I think they'll stick around at the club, don't get me wrong. But I think what you guys were mentioning, I think Ash sent in, because I was listening on my phone on the way home, Ash mentioned that he wants a left back, and you guys were saying it'll be a cover. I don't think it'll be a cover. I think we desperately need, whether it's on the right or the left, a Calafiori, a Hincapié type of profile.
Fullback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next season
we can play both positions, maybe even.
A Bastoni, a Schlotterbeck, a Lukeba, all these guys are just coming out from the top of my head.
A genuine fullback.
A genuine fullback away from home, less so at Anfield, but it will allow Bradley to get higher. And then we could do it with Guehi as well, but I think Guehi would be a good option from January to summer, and then get a left-sided fullback. And you've got Kirkes, the marauder, and then you've got the left-sided centre-back who can be a Calafiori as well. I think that's what we're definitely missing. And he'll add the extra physicality to the team as well. So into midfield, Anderson is top of my list. Really impressing me.
I'm just going to quickly say there, we're talking about what's called Guehi being done. And if we do take any notice of India, then he's just literally just broke a bomber there and says that Liverpool have submitted £25 million bid for Guehi. So it's not
So
that
they asked a bit early,
it's not
and
been rejected.
we're not even in December yet, man. We've already bid for him.
I know, but then at
You
the same
understand?
time, as you sort of take him with a pinch of salt, but he did get a few bits in the summer, and he obviously got a bit of recognition, and it makes you think that exactly what you said, Sheen. You want Guehi signed on the 1st of January, like not the 2nd or 3rd, the 1st of January, done and dusted. And to be honest, you want him announced before that, really, knowing that he's coming.
We need to do a Virgil van Dijk on him.
For it.
Literally, we need to do I think Virgil van Dijk was agreed on the 27th, 28th of December. 1st of January was ordered, 2nd of January was in Liverpool. That's exactly what we have to do. And so obviously, everything's already in place for that deal. Let's literally agree a fee sort of thing, isn't it? A different fee.
I was thinking as well, I don't know what you thought. It hasn't really been mentioned, but it has been a little bit. But there is a conversation to say. You're talking about needing a left back. That Guehi can play. Definitely in the short term or maybe the long term, he can play left back or right back, can't he? Probably more naturally left back. So that might be a real bonus for us if we want someone who can play.
Massive bonus. And the benefit of and I've mulling over the idea over the last 2-3 weeks, and I prefer him over the left. Why is 2 reasons. One is the position that he plays practically for Crystal Palace. Lets the left back go. He is the wide centre back from the 3. So when Liverpool do that, he can do that. He'll also, if he does it from the right, then Kanate will have to be the middle centre back. And if the left back goes, Van Dijk will literally have to be the left back. And I don't like Van Dijk to be out there, even though obviously I like Van Dijk when he used to cover Robbo from a central position, then go out. But rather than standing in wide positions, even Van Dijk, as great as he is, that's not his role. And then you obviously on the ball in possession, you lose his, you narrow his passing ability. You rather him be the middle centre back and where you can ping it to the left, ping it to the right. So that is the benefit of Guehi playing at left back on paper, and then letting the right back go as well. And then he can come into midfield as well and invert because, as you see with Guehi, whenever he comes or plays for Palace, I know he plays in the 3 and he gets a bit extra license to go and maraud into midfield, but his ball manipulation is very, very good. He comes into midfield and opens the game up really, really well. So I really like it. But long term, I'd rather have a left footer doing that for natural balance.
Yeah, but we need squad depth as well, don't we? There's Arsenal last night, no Gabriel. Sorry, not last night, on Sunday, no Gabriel. And then everyone thinks, Mosquera's going to come in, and Nketiah plays instead. If they've got Calafiori out, then they can throw him in there at left back if needs be. They've got Timber on the right. They've got Ben White to cover. So there's got loads of depth in defence. And as I say, it's almost been like a bit of a thing. Oh, let's buy another centre half or another left side. But just shows you can't have enough of them, can you? And we all know Virgil, he probably could do with a break at the moment. He looked really tired, I thought, against Forest. It's not something that's really been mentioned that much. But, we just don't even conceive of the idea of Van Dijk not playing every single minute of every game. And that's something that's going to need to happen at some point. So I wouldn't be averse to, Guehi even giving Van Dijk a few nights off on the odd occasion, especially if the league is just drifting a little bit. And we're like, right, okay, we're all putting our chips in the Champions League basket, which I hope it doesn't get to that, but it might well do. But yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed, it gets done.
Did you guys watch the presser today?
Yeah, I watched a bit.
No, I missed it. No, go on. It was quite. There was quite a lot to be said, wasn't there?
Yeah, he was talking about set pieces, obviously the mentality of the team, and how the defeats for a big club like Liverpool, just the standards. So I thought he did all right, to be fair, considering a manager that's lost. I don't even know what we know, 7 out of 8.
A lot of games. We'll just say lots.
A lot of games. So, but it was interesting to see because and hear what he said about this team isn't doing a lot different on the ball. He said that. And this is why I've been going on about the fact that, like, this is not a manager that's completely just forgot the principles of last year, what we had. I saw proper positional play principles with natural fluidity and interchanging oppositions. And you can argue.
I saw that clip that you put on Twitter with Jones in that right back position. It was a perfect example, to be honest, perfect example. And, it's not like they've forgotten how to do it. They were, the first half an hour, we're trying to be positive tonight, so I can get away with it, even though they're shite. But the first half an hour, they were really good. They played really well, deserved to score. The problem is the mentality. Like, I saw amazing stats. You probably all saw it. League-wise, Frankfurt aside, that's the only exception. Every single game that we've conceded the first goal this season, we've lost. Every single game that we've scored the first goal, we've won. And it's like,
the crazy thing is, Ben, sorry, when the game was actually going on for the first 20 minutes, I actually praised Slot for making that tweak for Jones and Szoboszlai's interchanging. Both was helping out, coming in midfield, having the license to both of them to do what they sort of wanted. And I actually gave him a lot of credit, thinking, you know what? One big problem we had was the right-hand side. I felt as though he's done something. But then, when you scored, we conceded one. That sent me sideways. And the second half, we conceded straight away after an hour, right?
Oh, they were diabolical second half. Diabolical.
And the crazy thing was that second half, we didn't look like scoring.
Yeah, we didn't.
We didn't look like scoring. That's why I flipped on the manager, because it was pissing me off, thinking this team is sat in 19th place, have just turned up to Anfield, and bar 25 minutes of the first half, we haven't done shit.
To 3 points.
And that's what got me really, really angry, and that's what made me think, I can't see this manager being able to change much.
We need to start scoring first to build some momentum. That's what we need to do.
Now, even more so, I think, in modern day football, because before you could. How many times we'd let the opposition score and we'd come back and get a win? We did that at the start of the season, but we were very lucky. We were lucky at the start of the season, and when it ran out, it literally ran out. Our look completely ran out.
The problem that we have, Gene, with this team now is when you look at it and when the chips are down, obviously, look, when you lose those amount of games, doesn't matter who you are, whether it's Maradona, Messi, or Salah, and Ekitike, and all the rest, it's going to affect you mentally. But last year, we were talking about the Anfield crowd, and the Anfield factor will just take over. How many times did we like a goal down or chasing a goal, like Brighton at home, Tottenham for the game, winning league? I know it's later on in the season, but these are just examples that just come to mind. When Slot's team, even though people are saying it was Klopp's team, it was Slot who made changes. Because it had a lot of Kloppism in it, you could cause chaos and cause a blitz. Not like how we used to cause a blitz.
That wasn't completely out of the system yet.
It wasn't completely out of the system, but the personnel were there.
They had Klopp players as well, didn't they? And 3 of those players went.
Yeah. So whenever Slot wanted to change into a Klopp and cause chaos for 20 minutes, he could. But unfortunately, we can't do that now. There's no Kloppism left. Especially, how do you really put it on a team? You have to charge from the front. We don't have it. Isak is not the presser of Jota and Nunez and these guys. Diaz has gone. We've lost. And then you take out Szoboszlai from the number 10 position. That was one integral part of Arne Slot. I know he's changed it recently and put him back in with Wirtz going out to the left. But, Wirtz started there this season. So you consider all these things. A Slot team now, whenever he needed to fall back on a Kloppism, he can't do it because he just doesn't have the personnel.
No.
And the thing, I say, one of the things, look, I don't want to even be thingy, but one of the things that's really, I don't like, you mentioned the Anfield crowd, how we would get up for it. And, generally speaking, I want us to go out and just go for them. I want us to go out.
You have to give the crowd something.
I don't want to go for the manager, please. This is the one thing that pisses me off. There's certain games, Ben, that I look at and think, you know what? We're Liverpool. This game, Nottingham Forest, just blitz them. Go out and go for them. Go for them, because we've got the better team. But Asim's probably right. It's a good
you want
point.
them to get angry, don't you? You want them to say, you know what?
Yeah, kick a ball, for God's sake.
Yeah. Make a foul or something. It's like, we've seen a few games this season where it's like nobody's been booked and we've been beaten. And it's like, it's mad. It's to think about. And I'm almost at the point now where a lot's been said about the mentality and how unbelievably difficult the summer has been. But I'm almost at the point now where surely, and especially with Virgil and the anger that he's showing at the moment, and the rest of the team must be thinking, you know what? you're all absolutely devastated about what happened to Jota, but there's a part of me that's thinking he'd be watching and thinking, get off your arses and fight, and absolutely fight, and start showing what you're all about. You're champions of England. You're making a mockery of the club at the moment. Don't worry about me. You know, you get on there and you fight for it, and it's so hard to do, isn't it? Because you know it doesn't work like that in reality, and grief and death and stuff affects people in totally different ways. And you know, as I say, I don't want to go down a big epic route, but it's almost as if, like, you know, if you are feeling down and you are feeling depressed and you are feeling bad, it was like channel it in a way to say, right, you know what, we're going to show everybody that we're not. We are mentality monsters. We are the real deal. We are the champions of last year. Last year wasn't a fluke or a freak. It was like, you know what? It's time now. It's time to start showing what we're really all about, and give the crowd something to get behind. But
I think it was interesting to hear him, though. I think it was interesting to hear him in the presser, though, Ben, today. He was talking about the setup and how the team defends and all that sort of stuff. And he was talking about we had 75% possession against Nottingham Forest. And he goes, we only were faced with 4 situations from them. Maybe in the first half, I need to watch it again. But he was talking about Liverpool, because they're not facing that defensive time enough. The focus isn't there. And he was exploring at the press conference, saying maybe it's just a better idea just to sit off teams a bit more. So you're more focused and in that mentality of defending. And he goes, and he named the Real Madrid game, and he goes, maybe something like the Real Madrid, but you can't do that against Nottingham Forest at Anfield. That is the problem.
Because they've still got the mentality of, we're champions, we should outclass you, we should outplay you, and it'll just come. We can't put a low block in against a mid-table team, but even though we probably should do to rebuild some momentum.
Can't even look
back. It's totally right.
Liverpool, Ben, with all due respect, you can't do that against a team in 19th. That is like, mate, we'd go mental. We go mental that Ego Brody doesn't go and attack. I don't like it. But imagine being defensive against at home. Nah, man, we have to go out and play. We've got the players to go out and play, right? We just need to sort it out. And you know, the one thing, and people mentioned it, you know, that in this game that did really piss me off in the last game is the 50-50s, man. It really pissed me off, man. I looked at that, and you know what? Somebody's made a comment here, and he said, Slot, what he could have done, and it's a good comment. He goes, Slot is seeing people not going to 50, at least shout out the players on the pitch. This is one other thing that I know he's probably not in his personality.
There's no emotion for him, is there?
Yeah,
there's no emotion on the touchline.
I'm sat there shouting at the player. Gakpo, and I think it was another 2 times. I flipped on him, right? Thinking, crunch him, right? If I'm getting that animated, you're the manager. Brody, get him going, because that's what's going to get a crowd going. We saw that tackle that Bradley did against Mbappe. Look what that tackle did.
More of that.
We need bite. And these players, the Gakpo's, fucking crunch him, man. Go for him. I don't care if you get a foul. At least it gives you something, because we were losing every single second ball at that point. So,
and sometimes those tackles and those 50-50s, the catalysts for lifting the crowd and lifting the players to say, you know, we're here, we're not playing great, but we're still fighting and we still want this. And it's like, it's that feeling of like, well, do you want it? And isn't it just a case of they're all just thinking to themselves, well, football just isn't that important this year for all of the reasons that we've talked about? But you can't think like that. Eventually, you've got to say, you know what, there's a job to do.
It's strange, though, guys, because this manager, if anyone should know and had an exposure and the importance of winning duels, was Arne Slot. He came on his first day last season and he subbed Kwanzaa at half time because he kept losing his duels. He came out and he said, look, it wasn't because we were losing that duel between, I think it was, who's the striker that went to Chelsea?
Delap.
Yeah. I think Delap was just going on that side and winning every duel.
Yeah, just bullying him. Yeah.
He was bullying him. And so he came out and he goes, look, it doesn't matter who you are and what structure you're in. If you lose your duels, you can't play and impose your style on even
the right to play
team like Ipswich. So, you know, he saw it from the first day. And look, Arteta gets a lot of shit. He gets a lot of shit. But he saw the league where it's going. And although I still think they're slowly coming back to the expansive side, and he went too far extreme. But he made sure, and what we've been saying, and this is the red flag that Arnie Slot came out with about 3-4 weeks ago, and he said, "Look, we're waiting for the moment of magic. Why are you waiting for the moment of magic? Because week on week, the confidence in our star players, never mind the average players or the half decent players, the star players are short of confidence, and you can't rely on that. So when it's like any sport, whether you're cricket, tennis, when the confidence is shot, you rely upon your technique, and your technique gets you out of confidence. And when the confidence comes, you can be really expansive as much as you like. In the same way, when your star performers are not playing, you have to make sure the basics are right. You win the duels, the structure's right, you stay compact, and naturally the confidence will flow because the basics are right. So I just find it really, really, surprising. I do feel whether it's an Arnie Slot thing, and I think that everyone needs to take responsibility for it. There has been an oversight of where the league is going, and in terms of how they wanted to handle it, where they lost Trent, they lost Diaz. I think Arnie Slot, but this is another surprising thing because he knows teams change the way they set up against us at the back end of last season. So he knew they're going to do the same thing. And the way they changed, it had more emphasis on duels and long balls and set pieces and throwings. So to go, knowing that, and then to go there and saying, okay, look, we're just going to concentrate on breaking down a low block. It feels like we've just neglected the fact that we need to earn the right to play.
Yeah. It's not like, these teams are just going to sit there for 90 minutes with 10 men behind the ball. They're going to come after you, aren't they? And they're going to score, and they're going to try and score. And more often than not, they score from a set piece as well, which is the catalyst for undoing us so many times this season. So frustrating. But as you say, even if we are waiting for a moment of magic, fine, but be defensively solid in the meantime, because no point waiting for a moment of magic and then you're 2-0 down. So it's mad.
It is. Asim Kirk. Because is it fair to say Slot has taken the fear factor out of the team and out of Anfield? No team respects us and no manager respects us. They are coming to get all 3 points.
You could argue that, in the last 2 weeks, we've lost to United, we've lost against Nottingham Forest, conceded goals left, right, and centre. I think it's fair to say that. The thing is, Gene, people know how to play against Liverpool. If you've got decent duelers, you've got a decent ping. Like, look, we're gonna beat some side in the next 3-4 weeks. I think 2-3-0, and we're gonna perform really well because we've got some world-class players in our team. But week in, week out, there's a blueprint for the last 6 months in how to beat Liverpool. And when you see Liverpool lose 8 out of 11 and 6 out of 7 league games, even when you're not playing Liverpool, every single team is watching us. Like, how do they beat Liverpool? And you're getting an example of it week in, week out at the moment. So mentality, just before Liverpool, you play Liverpool, you're going into, you're in the right frame of mind because you're thinking if Crystal Palace can do it, we can do it. If Nottingham Forest can do it, we can do it. United can do it, and the list goes on. So I think it's fair to say
storm, hang in there, get a set piece, take your chance. And then Liverpool, and then you're playing a completely different team when you're 1-0 up to what you are when you're 1-0, when it's 0-0. So if you can hang in there and get the first goal, then you've got a good chance of winning.
Ben, at times with this season, I mean, and when I say this season, I mean after the first 5 or 6 games, when we had the confidence, we were free flowing, we got them goals at the end, got us over the line. But over the last 8 or 9 games, when we go behind, it does feel as though we've thrown the towel in. I wouldn't say they're given up, but we don't even look like.
There's no belief that we're capable of getting back into a game anymore.
That's from the manager. That's from the manager. That's
the
manager in terms of getting the players going. When we go 1-0 down, mentality, all that type of thing, and that we as a team, we call ourselves mentality monsters and all that type of stuff. We're not there anymore. We just maybe it's in the head. I don't get it. The players, the man. I feel as though we just don't. And there's times, Ben, especially the City game, we look shattered. It's probably 11 games of the season, man, and our players look battered, like they were tired, they couldn't run. And this is only 11th game of the season. This is why I feel as though now we've got like 6 or 7 games on the bounce. You are gonna see some shite performances because of tiredness. We already look shy. I wasn't gonna say effed, yeah, but that's what I feel as though you're gonna see.
Yeah. Do you want to have a little think about what do you want to do for the PSV game tomorrow? Obviously, we're in a position, aren't we, now where we're in a fairly comfortable position in the what's called in the Champions League group. I think it's safe to say we could even lose this game and still win 1 or 2 of the remaining games and still get through. But obviously, we want to keep that position as close as we can. We've got Inter Milan away next, which is a very, very difficult game. Marseille away, which is a very difficult game. And then we got carrier bag, haven't we? Last game. If we have break glass, we'd need to win that probably. So it would be nice to get it done against PSV, and then we're pretty much home and hosed then. But at the same time, West Ham is vitally important, isn't it? So how many changes does he make tomorrow to keep the momentum? Like the 2 that jump out at me, I don't know what you guys think. If he's made the decision to start Isak on Saturday and he said he wants to build his fitness, I'd be absolutely amazed if he doesn't start him again tomorrow night, because that would just totally go against what he's basically admitting that he made the mistake by not starting Ekitike. So I would want him to do another hour or 45 at least for Isak, and then again on Sunday. And then the other one for me,
playing one game saying something and then the next game not doing it then.
Exactly. So therefore he's got to, if he doesn't start Isak, I'll be amazed. But and then the other one for me is that he's got to find a position, whether it's at right back or centre half, for Joe Gomez tomorrow, and he's got to start using him. And I'm almost of the knowledge of like, well, if he's worried about him getting injured, well, so be it, because we're signing Guehi in about 6 weeks' time, so just play him, play him. And if, we're saying we're only going to use
a prediction then.
Well, we're saying we're only going to use him for break glass, aren't we? And it's like, how much more glass have we got to break at this moment in time before we start using him? So I'd be playing him.
You're mentioning Gomez. Obviously, in the pressure, you mentioned this. Gomez, we didn't mention that he can't play because he took injections and stuff over the last week.
Is that what was said? Was it, or is that just a rumor?
No, he said it. He said it in the presser.
Yeah.
Wow. So that means he's not really available.
I don't think he's. This is what I was saying. Like, Kanate is playing shite, but look at the understudy.
Yeah, there's no threat really, is there at all? And it's not even a threat. It's like you can't even take Kanate out. I think you're probably right, Asim. It's almost like he probably would have took Kanate out by now if he had a viable option as a replacement.
I don't know. 100% he would have. Obviously, we sold Quantum. We thought we were going to get a replacement. I think obviously Leone getting injured, it was had a saying that, but it is what it is. You went into the summer with this team. You got him. At the end of the day, we knew we were left short, especially in the centre back area. But the truth is, Kanate has been shy. But let's go to the team, Asim. Obviously, Alisson starts then.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Who's PSV's left winger? Any?
I don't have a clue. Let me check the team. They don't have that guy.
Is that the one that we were linked with on the right?
Yeah, that guy that battered us. The battered. Well,
don't they have that kid anymore?
I'm sure he left in it.
He played well against us last year, didn't he?
Well, it looks like they've got a decent team here. Well, Ivan Perisic.
Oh, is it Perisic on the left hand side then?
He's a dinosaur, him though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is he the one that went to Spurs?
No, I don't know. I'm looking at their team. Ivan Perisic plays he's on the left hand side, yeah.
Who's that guy? Oh, Bakayoko went to Leipzig.
He battered us. He went to Leipzig.
Bakayoko went to Leipzig.
Went to Leipzig, yeah. So they played Breda, NAC Breda at the weekend. They beat them 1-0 away, and I'm just trying to look at the team now. Perisic was left wing.
Is that Dest? Is he the ex-Barcelona guy?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the ex-Barcelona.
The other guy called Gus Till up front.
I don't know any of these,
I don't really recognise any of them.
6 points ahead in the league. Can't be that bad.
Yeah, I know. Ivan Perisic. Dest.
But you'd like to think Slot should know them quite well as well.
They won 6-0 against Napoli.
Yeah, they're
6-2. They beat Napoli, yeah.
Something crazy.
That was a home, but then they got beat.
Yeah, they got beat.
They got battered by somebody at home as well. Away, sorry. They drew 2 away.
Let's go. Let's go then. Let's go to the team. Who's at right back?
I was going to say Gomez, but if he's not fit and he's getting what's called and he's getting stims, then he won't be what's called. He won't be playing. So,
well, I'm going Szoboszlai or Gomez. Sorry, Szoboszlai or Curtis.
Well, you can't play with 2 right backs, Shane.
I know,
Even though we
one
could
of
do
them there, but then I think
Ramsey not in the squad.
I don't think Wirtz is fit, so Szoboszlai on one of them two.
You know, Wirtz didn't train, did he? Ramsey's not in the Champions League squad, is he? So we can't use him.
Yeah.
I think Szoboszlai will start on paper. We will see what we saw in the last 20-30 minutes. Not last 20, the first 20-30 minutes against Nottingham Forest, where practically they're just taking in turns.
That's what they did. And I like that dynamic, to be fair.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay.
So, centre back, are we still going with the 2, yeah?
I think so.
Gotta be honest, no one else is there. One of our other 12 options at the back. He keeps telling us, doesn't he? He's got 5 defenders at the moment for the next 3 weeks. But
and then I think Kerkez will keep his place.
Yeah, I do as well. I think Kerkez will keep his place because I think he'll want charge Robbo up for Sunday.
Gene, you go with you think he's going with Kerkez, yeah?
Yeah, I think he goes Kerkez.
Midfield picks itself, doesn't it? Without Wirtz.
More or less, yeah.
McAllister,
Jones, McAllister, Gravenberch, yeah. Or Szoboszlai, sorry, obviously, whichever dovetails.
Salah wide?
Yeah. That's the start.
Left wing. Who do you think he goes for?
Who else can he play there, Ben?
Yeah, I was going to say Chiesa.
You saw Frimpong. So you saw Frimpong.
Is there a conversation to start Chiesa and leave Salah on the bench?
Yeah, I don't mind seeing that.
I just think, though, he knows he's losing him in a few weeks, so he's just going to play him every game, isn't he? The only real conversation for me is that 2 out of 3 left and centre, and who it is. I think it's time to give Ekitike go on the left.
I think I said this a while ago. I think it was time a long time ago.
What harm can it do? He's acting Ekitike and Salah. See what happens.
But I think he will go Gakpo. I think he goes Gakpo.
It's remarkable how little options we have all of a sudden, isn't it?
Ben, you look at this team and you think, wow, right now we have got some gaping holes in quite a few of our positions. Your left back, right backs, left winger, right winger, and that's a big issue. And the crazy thing is, if you look at our issues, it's all down the wing. It's left back, right back, left winger, right winger. So you're taking both touch lines. We've got issues with, which we need to sort out, and that's why we're really, really struggling. Really, really struggling. But I think play Chiesa right back. I want Chiesa to start tomorrow. He deserves a start.
Ahead of who? Salah.
Anyone. I want to see him start, whether it's on the left or right. I need to see a Chiesa starting a game, man. It's only fair that he gets minutes. Oh no, if he is a shit game, fair play. The rest have been shit for fucking 3 months. So if he's got had a shit game, who cares? But ideally, I want
where's that can happen is your point.
Who would you start him ahead of, Ben? Gakpo. He's gone Gakpo.
Yeah, I would. Probably if I had an absolute choice, I'd go left. I'd go Chiesa, Isak, Salah.
Chiesa.
Isak, Salah.
The only thing I would say about Isak is he started, took him off. From the injury that he had, is he ready to play 3 games in a week?
No, I want Ekitike to start tomorrow.
Because if you want him to start against West Ham, can he start against Nottingham Forest, start against PSV, and West Ham at the weekend?
Well, if he's not going to do 90 in any of them, I don't think. So he should be able to do an hour in all of them.
Me or it's baffling me, man. This guy was signed the 1st of September, yeah, and he's
It
still
is
not
baffling. Yeah,
He's still not
it's mad. It's mad. Is he that like brittle that he can't play? You know, at the level. And I know he only played 34 games for Newcastle last season. You know, and we're obviously playing a 60-game season, but you'd like to think that he should be able to play. But did you see that touch map graphic that was circling where Isak's the only one that nobody passed to at all, and he had no touches. I think it between the first and the 55th minute, and there's all this. I think the positions were the average positions. So because there was obviously the ball into the box for Kirkes and McAllister's chance, so it looked like there was no balls into the box. But I think it was that was their average position and their passing networks. And Isak was like the only one with no connections at all. And it was like nobody passed to him in the first 55 minutes of the game. And it's like, what is that all about?
Well, this is the Arnie Slot thing, though.
Yeah.
Because look, his game was all about Salah. His plan was all about Salah. Connect on the right hand side, and make sure he gets the ball in wide areas and to do his magic. And he sort of reverted. Then obviously tried to integrate Wirtz, and it was just probably too much too soon. And then the physicality, the confidence, and all that sort of stuff. And because Wirtz affected other positions as well, even though I would have been happy for him to ride it out, and I think the quality would have come through. But the problem Wirtz had is the foundations weren't right at the back, and he just didn't have the environment to flourish. And it just Liverpool all of a sudden had too many problems. But in going back to the Isak situation, Ben, is Arnie Slot has had that not number 9 because he's always wanted him to come into the left half space and complete the box midfield. So you have the 2 in McAllister and Gravenberch, and then you have the number 10, and then on the facilitator, he called him in last season. So his 9 is the facilitator, and then in creating the wide isolation for Gakpo and Salah. And that's not Isak's game. He needs to stretch the opposition. So he needs to find the balance. And how many players does he need to find the balance for? Wirtz and Isak. Gakpo wants to be a Salah. It's just, that's what we call about. There's some chronic imbalance.
And that's what we were saying at the beginning of the stream before you come in. It's almost now I'm at the point where for this summer's business, what we've just done to make sense, we need to go heavy in the next 2 windows probably to complete the jigsaw all in one go, because it feels like these signings don't make sense unless you make the other signings to make them make sense. It feels more and more like that because, as I say, there's so many players that don't complement each other at the moment. It's wild. But, but you're right. We didn't score many goals as whoever played centre forward for Liverpool last season, be it Diaz, be it Nunes, be it Jota, they weren't a threat. They weren't in the game quite often at all. It was always the wide players. So it's and he's not even fit now, and no wonder he's hardly getting a kick.
And even like Nunes, for example, whenever he played, it doesn't matter what you think of Nunes, within a Klopp side, he still used to have about 10 million shots. They all went over in Rose. He was in a position
I'd love Isak to be having that many chances and shots now.
The thing with Nunes is, that at least he'd get us going. The crowd would get going. He'd get the fans going. We'd be like, you know what? F it, doesn't matter. At least he'd work his socks off. Yes, he messed up. We'd shout at him and do all of that. But at least he got us off our feet. Yeah. And we've lacked, man. Honestly, this is the one. I'm honestly, Ben, I find us like when I watch this Liverpool team, when you've gone through the Klopp era, you've seen what we were about and how we were playing. And then you see like
dull.
Dull. And look, I'm not saying really, I'm not expecting a Jurgen Klopp, right? But come on, man, we need to see something.
That's the thing. That's my point.
Greatness of Anfield, we don't even have the greatness of Anfield. I feel as though because it's been sucked. I'm not having I am having a bit of a go at the manager. It's been that thing's been sucked out of us.
No,
that's the thing. He took Nunes out of Nunes as well, because one, he didn't he didn't let him be Nunes because he wanted a facilitator. He wasn't getting many touches, and when he wasn't the greatest of connectors. And what Nunes did well was run the channel and shoot. It was a chance magnet, chance created in terms of chance creation. He was good, but he nullified the him being Nunes, and that is just a striker problem. I think he needs to find a way that we can't just be all about Mohamed Salah, and it will work. And he had a brilliant all-time season, but when he's not firing, then you need to make sure you have a plan B and a plan C. At the moment, when you look at that pass map, like you mentioned, Ben, you think, like one of the comments said, you spend £125 million on someone. You have to make sure you try to integrate him into the team. And I feel sorry for
him on the pitch at the moment. It's mad.
Yeah, the way we're playing at the moment, Ekitike suits the team more than Isak.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
100%.
So, yeah,
and
obviously,
that, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously it'll improve a bit as Isak gets fit, firing and this and that. But we have to make sure. The problem again is, guys, is how many times have we seen that ball where Salah comes deep and the striker goes over and the long ball comes down the line? But we just don't have the deep progression anymore. We don't create that moment.
Yeah, and I think they were hoping that penetration was going to come from Wirtz, who in his own way hasn't settled and been able to provide that either. So it's like I can see their vision in a way, but as you say, in reality, it's not like it should look on paper.
Yeah,
not even close.
Oh,
we were really positive at the beginning of this one, weren't we?
What did you say, Ben?
I said we were really positive. We're trying to be positive at the beginning of this one, and we're just sitting here now going, flipping order. Okay, we'll sign at least 3 players in January, another 4 next summer.
One guy messaged me, "You've been calm today, Gene. I'm looking forward to the show."
Yeah, you know what?
Watch along tomorrow.
Enjoy it, mate, because the earmuffs will be ready to roll tomorrow if they're not better.
I just want to win. Why I was pissed off with Nottingham Forest, Ben? I think I was more angrier because I expected us to win. Even though I say he's not going to turn it around, you still believe, don't you? You're still going to every game.
You keep backing them, you keep supporting them, and you keep believing in them. And it's like you don't even believe in themselves at the moment, and it's really hard to get behind a team that doesn't believe in themselves.
And it really peed me off. And that's why I got pissed off with them. But I just want tomorrow, please just turn up and let us win. Just win a football match. I don't want a title. Just get me a football match.
Yeah, you know what? Lovely evening, nice chilled. I can smell the Mother Hubbards already.
Yeah,
and it's and 3 points for the Reds. Nice clean sheet, 3 goals, bish bash bosh, and we can all have a nice week until Sunday.
Till Sunday.
Goes to just win ugly, even if you have to anything to get a win, and that's exactly what it is. We just want anything to get a win over the line. But we had a couple of super chats before we go. Ash, big up Ash. She goes, Sangare, Anderson, and Gibbs rolled their sleeves up and just ran Grav, Mack, and Jones second half, and they had nothing to match them physically. You can say that, man, because they battered us. Second half, they battered us, man.
Aki's in the building. He goes, I enjoyed it.
You know, Pachara, yeah? They're bloody about to eat. They bloody scored. Pachara killed us, man.
That fillet of fish, to be fair, is banging.
Yeah, it is. Jack Whittaker, big up, man. Always supporting the channel. God, imagine if Simeone was in charge of this team, at least just for that last Saturday, half the team would be walking home or in A&E. You know what? Look, he's a good manager. I like Simeone. Sometimes, you look at him and think, you know what? He has gone a bit more progressive, especially over the last couple of years. But look, I don't want to talk about a new manager right now. Please, just go and get me a fucking football win tomorrow. I want to try and be positive, try and concentrate on that. Just don't lose tomorrow, and it's not because I'll be going in for your head, mate, if you lose. Anyway, is there anything else you guys want to cover?
I was just going to mention very quickly, when the Reds are at the darkest and they're at the bottom of the what's it called, the tree, and you just think to yourself, my word, what can we do to get it to pick us up? And then you watch Man United lose at home to 10 men Everton. You think to yourself, you know what, that put a little smile on my face. A little smile indeed, because they were starting to hear a few little voices like, we're above the Scousers, and this is it now. Amarin's turned the corner. We're going to push for top 4. Well, shove that up your ass.
Yeah, that's the only good thing that happened. I was getting messages from United. It's been the best weekend. City lost, Liverpool lost. It's been the best weekend for them scum.
Yeah.
But then, when you see them get beat by 10 minutes, even though it is Everton. And
they are the Everton. I'm Sam at that, like.
They're ahead of us in the league, mate.
I know, and that what's called. There is emergency when they're above us. Bloody hell!
Oh, total Clips goes emergency stream tomorrow night. Oh. No, like at the moment, times are so hard. Like we have to pencil in an emergency show every game. Oh my God!
My words.
So let's send predictions for tomorrow, man.
Tomorrow, I think we'll win.
Yeah,
I think we'll win 3-1 tomorrow.
I was going to say it's 3-1 as well. Actually, yeah, I think we'll be good.
And that's having no knowledge on PSV. So, but
3 goal scorers knowing this team will be Kanate, McAllister, and Gakpo.
I got 3-1 too, Asim. Actually, no, I can't be the same as you. 2-0.
Scorers?
Please, Isaac.
I think Ekitike starts. So I'm going Ekitike. Ekitike 2.
Ooh. I think the King will score. I think the King will score tomorrow.
Played well again first half, didn't he? Against
he
Forest. I thought he looked really sharp. Faded a bit second half, but yeah, they all did.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be up for it now for the last few games before he goes. So yeah, I think he'll score. Good.
Oh, we had another 1 second. Has it gone? No. Big up banter is fine. Isak is a transition specialist, wants to always stretch, not convinced of him in the box in tight situations either. Ekitike, best of both worlds, in my opinion. I think right now, probably, we understand that Ekitike is suited to the way we play, but I think Isak isn't just a transition. I think he can play in the box, and I think
he's a technical footballer, and some of the stuff you've seen him do is like magic. It's just getting him fitting on the pitch. That's the problem.
No, exactly. I think that's it, Asim. I think we are done. Guys, before you go, smash a like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. It does help us out a lot regarding the algorithms and all that type of stuff. So definitely smash the like. We will be doing a watch along tomorrow. So do join us at 7:30 tomorrow. I'm sure
10:30 the emergency show.
Yeah, 10:30 emergency. But no, I'm not doing no emergency show. You'll get mine straight after the game. But anyway, look, hopefully we'll win all of the Reds, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.